This is a celestial kingdom that is closer to the heavens than to earth. It is a long and torturous journey along the rugged cliffs of the Himalayas. However, without fail, life exists there too. It is a final haven for the golden langur, of which only 1,000 are left in the world, as well as other endangered species. These pure-hearted people chose tradition and nature over development and growth. Their lives are exact replicas of the nature they live in. This is Bhutan, a mysterious land that touches the sky. It takes 8 hours to fly from Korea. This small country, located between China and India, is in the eastern region of the Himalayas. The quickest way to Bhutan is to go to Paro International Airport, which is slightly west of the capital. Instead, I am crossing the border from Guwahati, India, to the southeastern border city of Sandrup, Jangkar. The secluded kingdom of Bhutan, which is nestled in the Himalayas, is a small country that is 1/5 the area of the Korean Peninsula, with a population of just 710,000. Perhaps this is why Bhutan is so foreign to Koreans, despite it being a fellow Asian country. I first arrived in Guwahati in Assam, India. It would be nice to get out and have a look around, but it takes 3 hours by car to reach my destination of Bhutan. There's no time to waste. There is the checkpoint that signifies the border. After an exhausting journey, I finally get my first look at Bhutan. It clearly displays itself as the only Buddhist kingdom in the world.
이렇게 히말라야 산맥 자락이 시작하는 곳에 우뚝 서 있는 이 관문소라고 해야 될까요? 불교적인 느낌도 나면서 정말 좀 다른 세계에 온 것 같다라는 느낌이 듭니다. 과연 이 안쪽엔 어떤 일이 벌어지고 있을지 참 궁금하기도 하고요. 기대감을 안고 한번 들어갑니다. 구수상보 타시들래 ngagiming konggibong
ngagiming rinchen wangdi
린칭 왕디
예 점벌렉서
네 구상보 와
점벌렉서 짜시들
가린채 야 부드럽네요 상당히 와
This one we are trying to welcome you with the pure heart. So white represents purity. So very very clear hearted from our side.
가린채
With a Bhutanese greeting from our guide, Lin Chen, my real journey in Bhutan officially begins. Today we will begin in the south at an altitude of 200 meters. We will pass through Trashigang and go on to the high eastern region of Merak at 3,500 meters. It's a long journey that takes over 10 hours. It is a winding path. Mountainous terrain greets us from the beginning of the trip. Bhutan, located in the Himalayan mountain range, has roads that run along the mountain tops instead of tunnels that go through. It's because the Bhutan Constitution states that forest must make up 60% of the land.
지금 여기 인도에서 이제 부탄으로 막 넘어왔어요. 근데 넘어오자마자 가파른 산악지대가 막 시작되고 있습니다. 정말 부탄에 온 게 실감이 나요.
The people of Bhutan live in stride with nature instead of solely pursuing material development, even though this may be a bit slow. Instead of elaborate billboards and road signs, I see green hills, fields, and blue skies. It is 175 kilometers to our first stop, Trashigang. It would be a 2-hour trip on a typical highway, but here it takes 6 whole hours. Just how many mountain corners have we passed? Bhutan's weather is as fickle as the roads are rugged.
What's the matter?
With a big thud, my fears start coming to life.
이게 떨어졌어. 물불에 걸려가지고.
The road conditions aren't good in Bhutan, so spare tires are a necessity, which is what had fallen off.
이 승합차 밑에 있던 그 뭐랄까요, 스페어 타이어, 그 공 타이어 그 받침대가 부러졌어요. 그래서 저기 떨어져 있는 거예요, 그 타이어가. 그래서 지금 주워다가 밑에는 부러져서 다시 못 연결을 하고 이 위에다가 그냥 싣고 가기로 지금 변경했습니다, 계획을. 야, 이거 비가 좀 그쳐야 될 텐데.
Despite my wishes, the rain continues in torrents. Will we make it to Merak by today in one piece? Fortunately, the rain dies down a bit, but we have another problem. The sudden torrential rain causes a landslide. The bigger problem is that fallen rocks are blocking the road, and now we're stuck. Just then, another landslide seems to be brewing. Without time to waste, we decide to help move the rocks with the locals. However, it's heavier than I thought. Only with the strength of 5 men are we barely able to move it. A vehicle hurries past, lest another rock falls on us. A couple of the men fearlessly run after. Is this dangerous situation just another day for them?
저희가 또 이 길을 떠나면 또 떨어지고 다음 사람들은 또 치우고 지나가고 그냥 이 일상이 반복되는 것 같아요.
Nature in Bhutan doesn't stay still for a minute. It seems that the Bhutanese people, who have learned to live in the moment, are alchemists of time. We arrive halfway up the mountain after a whole 6 hours. Our guide, Lin Chen, advises me to replenish my strength in advance while we're at this rest stop.
Monlapsa.
Monlapsa?
Yeah, which is above 3,360 meters something high from the sea level. So from here, now we have to walk.
We entrust our luggage to the major mode of transportation here, a cow and yak hybrid called the Joe.
이제 여기부터는 걸어가야 되는데요. 땅이 너무 질적해서 이렇게 장화로 갈아 신고 가야 된답니다. 야, 등산화도 여기는 쓸모가 없구나.
It takes a total of 5 hours to reach Merak on foot, which is perched 3,500 meters above sea level. I am told that we're fortunate to even have this road to walk on, which is a surprising change in itself.
Big change now because when I
Big change.
because when I was here in 2005, there's no road, no electricity, no cell phone.
Televisions came into general use in Bhutan just over 10 years ago. Merak, which is even farther from civilization than that, is also Linchin's hometown. He moved to the capital, Thimphu, 8 years ago to make a living, and this is the first time he is going home in 3 years. Until 3 years ago, the Bhutanese government did not open this eastern region to the public at all. It was to protect nature as well as Bhutanese traditions. 3 years passed. Tourists are now permitted to visit, but it still remains a mysterious land. It's because not only is it unknown, it takes 3 nights and 4 days to reach Merak from Thimphu. This is a secluded land that has not been touched by outside forces for hundreds of years. I have been traveling rigorously to meet the people who live there, and just then.
Hi, what is your name? 응아기 밍, 기봉, 응아기 밍, 라옹나, 라옹나. 구상보. 예.
Langla is a young man who lives in one of the 4 villages in Merak. He also has company. Black oxen and village youths pass by carrying loads of wood. These days, Merak youth have been frequenting the mountain roads to gather firewood.
야, 벌써 이렇게 장작을 10월 중순이면 여기는 벌써 겨울이 찾아온답니다.
Because we have to keep piling up firewood.
아, 오케이.
Otherwise, for 6 months we cannot survive.
오케이.
Cold, very cold.
Like us, they have 4 distinct seasons, but half of the year is winter, so preparing firewood is the most important task. It's as if the Merak youth have allowed us to travel the Himalayan roads to our heart's desire. The secret land finally unveils itself to our group of foreigners and shows us its vast green heart. The plateau sits 3,500 meters above sea level. I can't believe there would be such wide green meadows so high.
아, 신세계 같네요. 예? 힘드세요? 지금 주변 풍광은 멋진데 지금 가도 끝이 없으니까 이제는 풍광도 잘 눈에 안 들어옵니다. 지금 해도 넘어갈락 말락 지금 해가지고 빨리 해 지기 전에는 가야 될 텐데 지금 걸음은 이렇게 느린데 심장은 지금 막 쿵쾅쿵쾅 난리가 났어요.
I haven't had any symptoms of altitude sickness, but now I can't pick up my pace to match the others. I'll have to take a short break. Unlike me, the oxen are silently carrying on with their heavy loads. They look pretty amazing.
우보천리라는 말이 있어요. 소걸음으로 천리를 간다라는 건데 소가 그만큼 느리니까 이제 느리지만 우직하게라도 간다, 천리를 간다라는 말 뜻인데 지금 그 느린 소의 속도를 못 쫓아가겠어요.
So what if I'm a bit late? Walk like a slow ox. As I take one steadfast step at a time with all my might. The sun has gone down a bit, but we make it safely to the village.
참 조용한 마을이 부탄 그 밑에서 봤던 부탄하고는 또 달라요. 아, 이곳 분들을 빨리 한번 만나 뵙고 싶고.
The villagers built this cabin for travelers, but I am the only traveler.
오늘은 여기서 묵고.
Oh, but there's someone else here.
Is it your father?
Yes, my
Ah, really?
all father.
고수상부. 다시 들래. 참. 아, 세상 아버지가 다 비슷하신 것 같아요.
At the news that Lin Chen would be coming, his father has been waiting up for him. It's not much, but I have prepared some gifts for him too.
아빠, 가린채. Here is a warm cloth. 예. 가린채. 가린채. 예. It's a warm in winter.
Lin Chen must have missed home more than anyone. He has brought bundles of things for his family. The first thing he removes from his heavy load is fresh meat, which is rare in Bhutan.
Pork. Brought from Samru Jungle. It's smelling now.
But I heard Buddhists didn't kill any animals or birds. So
Yeah, because
How?
this is brought from India.
ah, really?
Yeah, India kill.
아,
We eat.
여기 부탄은 불교 국가잖아요. 불교를 믿다 보니까 살생을 하지 않아서 이렇게 돼지고기나 뭐 쇠고기, 생선, 닭고기 모든 것들을 다 수입을 합니다. 주로 인도에서 수입을 한다고 해요.
Lin Chen's father has prepared a dinner of potatoes, cheese, and kiwa datsi, a popular Bhutanese dish made with spicy peppers for the travelers who have driven and walked all this way. In Bhutan, people use their hands to eat because they consider using their hands more natural than using utensils.
신배.
As night falls over the quiet hills, a marvelous world unfolds before me, and I feel like I'm in another world. For some reason, I think I'm going to gain more from this trip than I anticipated. The sun rises on the second day of my journey. Morning in Merak begins with the masters of the Himalayan meadows returning to their rightful places. There is a pair of brothers out at the village water tap. They stare at the camera for a long time. Then suddenly they make a beeline for it. Another pair of siblings hurriedly runs from us as well. His younger sister freezes on the spot. They are the epitome of innocence, don't you think? They keep hiding from their shyness.
Ôi tôi tới chân ông này làm mấy một trận Ja, lass.
At the same time, Lin Chen is preparing for the day as well.
This is hape. So goes here. Go.
Made of all yak.
Sheep.
Sheep.
Very heavy.
He is changing from the clothes that he wore in the city into traditional Merak dress.
National dress.
There is one more thing he has to wear with the clothes.
What is it?
It's a hat made out of yak hair. This one like raining. When it rains, the water will go from here. It don't come to face.
Lin Chen finishes changing into his familiar hometown clothes. But what is this? In Merak, there is a custom of presenting gifts to neighbors when returning home after a long absence. Lin Chen has brought doma, which Bhutanese commonly chew.
So put together like this, then wrap. So like this we eat. You try?
Yeah, I try. Just chewing? Just chewing. Oh, very hard.
Yeah, chew.
Also, it's bitter, and the scent is overwhelming.
Oh,
Not good.
it's very.
Dizzy.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, because it will warm up.
와, 지금 제가 이걸 씹기 시작한 지 한 1분 됐을까요? 얼굴에 지금 열이 확 나면서 몸이 그냥 후끈. 아, 그래서 이걸 고산지방 분들이 많이 드시나 봐요. 와.
You will see people with reddened mouths when strolling about Bhutan, which means they ate the red pigmented doma. He is the oldest person in Merak.
로쌈 가서 로. Look, my grandma's father and then his father is same. Yeah. 장마통아. 자. 듣는 게 안 되구나.
He goes from house to house, handing out doma for the adults and candy for the children until he empties his hands.
여기는 큰 이모 댁이랍니다. 큰 이모 댁. 금상구.
Incidentally, his aunt and her husband are home, and Lin Chen tells me something rather shocking.
She has three husbands.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
She has
Three husbands. Yeah, so he is the oldest one. Eldest husband, and then middle one is looking after the cow, and then the youngest one is looking after the yak.
일처 다부제 사회인 거예요, 이곳이. 그래서 이모는 여성분은 한 분인데 남편이 세 명이고 그 남편은 다 형제들이랍니다.
Polyandry is prohibited by law now, but until recently, it was allowed in Bhutan. It's a unique marriage system in which a set of brothers can get married to one woman to prevent financial hardship from splitting the family property. In other words, it's the best way to share their possessions.
찌세다. 야, 수자. 예. 아마 그 년자즈 로짱 가나 온다 년자즈. 16.
당 온다 인자랑데 인자랑데 당 온다 아빠 안에 랑도 랑도 도로도 못 가는 남이 도로도 못 왜열려나 좀 말래 놓다 어디 가래 뭐기 아빠다
Yeah.
Lin Chen's aunt has 7 children between her and her 3 husbands. They have all married and moved away, and now she lives with her mother-in-law and her youngest daughter. She and her youngest daughter are in charge of managing the house of this extended family. She also has 2 husbands who are both out in the mountains looking after the yaks. Now that I notice, there are quite a number of women in this town. Because they lead semi-nomadic lives, the men leave their houses for over a month when they are out herding the animals, which is why they still retain their polyandrous culture. Afternoon, the entire village rings with the laughter of children. They are busy playing with wooden sleds called shushu.
야, 우리는 어렸을 때 눈썰매 탔는데 여기는 그냥 이 풀 위에서 바로 타는구나. 와, 오.
Although there is no snow, the wooden sleds whiz over the grassy meadows with children in tow. Is there some special device attached? The speed is no less than that of a snow sled. Just then, one child gets off his shushu and fetches some water from a brook. What is he going to do with the water? It's the secret trick to make the sled go faster. I'm going to make a fool of myself, but I really want to try.
그 형 한번 타도 돼? 형 한번 타도 돼? 아, 가린채. 어떻게 타야 돼?
The boy politely teaches me how to ride the sled when I say I want to ride.
가자, 가자.
An exuberant ride across the grass. The outcome? I tumble head over heels. The children of these highlands play right alongside the pastures in which horses and sheep also romp about. Having finished playing on their shushu's, the children take off in 3s and 4s. For some reason, the adults gather outside too. These children occupy one of the best spots. The village adults are about to put on a show. This is an important traditional dance, which has been passed down for generations and is similar to Korea's talchum.
Why we have a young dance is because now we are thanking to the yak for giving such livelihood. Because without yak, we cannot survive. We get butter, cheese, milk, everything.
The long highland winter prohibits them from farming. So yaks are an important and appreciated livestock, which provide the people with many things. They usually perform the show in late June when the yaks have fattened. But today, they're performing it as a welcoming gesture for us. However, I haven't seen a single yak in the village. The villagers have taken them to graze on higher ground, where it's colder because yaks are accustomed to the cold. My sadness over this is short-lived. The hand-controlled yak is so intricate that it could be mistaken for an actual one. The children can't take their eyes off of it. It seems the innocent children of Merak are completely fooled. They quickly make a run for it, so they don't get caught. The wide fields fill with the sound of children's laughter. Perhaps you don't need much to be happy. A few days later, Lynchen's father has been busy since early in the morning. He is filling a big jar with yak milk butter, which he has made himself.
He says, for my son. So he says, like, from his side, nothing to give, so he is going to give this butter to me.
Before parting with his son, Lynchen's father says he is sorry he doesn't have more to give. To me, it looks like the biggest gift in the world. Now, only our final goodbye remains.
Very difficult to go back. Good weather. Yes.
I will be heading for another eastern region, and Lynchen will return to the capital, Thimphu. Full of regret and concern, Lynchen's father and his family have all come to see us off on our long journey. I don't know when I'll ever come back, but if there is one reason that brings me back here, it'll be the warm people of Merak.
해발 4,000m 넘는 곳에 야크가 산다니 참 믿어지질 않습니다.